Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited for this video. I picked up 5 of the new YSL powder blushes. The packaging is so beautiful. The shades look gorgeous. I got lucky and my overnight shipment actually showed up, but we're just going to try all of these on. I'm going to give you my first impressions, close-ups, and swatches. I know a lot of you are excited about this because these were available in Canada for a couple weeks before the US and they finally arrived yesterday. So of course I will link them down below as well as all the other makeup that I'm wearing. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you're excited about these blushes, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so before we get into the blushes, I did want to mention what lashes I'm wearing. I was wearing a different style in my Patrick Ta video, and a lot of you were asking me about it. So these are the one-step press pre-glued individual lashes from Tati Lashes. Yesterday I was wearing, I think like volume hybrid, and today I have on the wispy volume. So these are basically like the Kiss press-on where the glue is already on them, and I really like these, and the price really isn't that bad. I want to say each of these packs is like $14.99, so it's nothing insane. So been loving these, wanted to mention, I will link them down below because yesterday I didn't mention them and a lot of people were like, what lashes are you wearing? So let's get into the blushes. So these are the new YSL Make Me Blush powder blushes. Can we just have a round of applause for the packaging? I mean, it is iconic, very similar to their bronzer packaging that is stunning. Now these retail for $45 each. There are currently 7 shades available on the Sephora website. Although some of you were telling me that there was 4 shades, I think, that weren't at Sephora. So I'm not sure if they're going to be available later, but if any of you guys have any information, let me know. So this is described as a little blush and a little clutch, a long-lasting velvety soft blush that provides buildable color in silky satin and soft matte finishes. So these do come in matte or satin. I have 2 shades that are the matte, and you can just tell by looking at the pan. And then 3 of the shades I picked up actually do have that satin finish. So I'm really interested to see how that translates on the skin, whether it's gonna be like as intense as the Rare Beauty, or if it's gonna be something a little more subtle. I'm hoping for more subtle. So let's go over the shades that I picked up in the packaging. The packaging, you guys. Wow, look how beautiful this is. So it has like literally a leather fabric front on it. It is so pretty with the YSL logo. And then inside you have the blush with a mirror as well. So 10 out of 10. I really don't think the price of $45 is too steep, being that this is a luxury brand and the packaging does feel and look very luxe. So let's start out and look at the shades that I picked up. So the lightest one I got was shade 42. This one is a satin finish and it has that really beautiful like bubblegum pink look. Okay, so when you touch this, it definitely feels like it is soft, but it's not super powdery or dusty. You get pigment right off the bat. This is a very light shade and it does have that kind of luminosity to it. So this one may be one that I would use just as like a topper, but of course we're gonna try everything out. The next shade I picked up is also a satin. It is in 93 Restless Rose. This one looks honestly very similar to like a NARS Orgasm. So I want to see how this swatches. Very soft when you touch these, and a lot of pigment comes up. They do say these are buildable. This one definitely has quite a bit of radiance in it. So interested to see how this looks on the skin. A little intimidating, but sometimes I do get surprised and really love these radiant blushes. And then the third blush I got that is also a satin finish is 44, and this is called Nude La Villere. I literally suck at pronouncing things, so just disregard. This one definitely has like that like mauve-y nude tone to it. I think a lot of people are probably gonna like that sort of shade. Moving on to the other shades I picked up, these are both in the matte formula. So this one is 37 Peachy Nude, and it looks like it's a pretty rich, kind of like punchy terracotta peach. These are so soft. Like when you feel these, I don't know. It's just kind of this really interesting, soft, but not powdery feel. That one is super pigmented. And then the one I think I'm most excited about is the shade 87. Now this one is also a matte formula and it's called Pink Voltage. This is just right up my alley. It's like a bright bubblegum pink, kind of is reminding me of like Melt Cosmetics Body. Yeah, you can see how pigmented that is. So 3 shades that have the satin finish and then 2 that are matte. So I want to go ahead and zoom you in. Let's go ahead and start applying these and see what they look like on the skin. All right, so I've got you zoomed in and I want to start with the lightest shade, which is the 42 Baby Doll Pink. Now this one definitely has a luminosity to it. I did have a video up yesterday using the Patrick Ta blushes. I have not used powder blushes in a while because my skin has just been so dry and I've been having like patchiness. I've been struggling with it, so I actually switched to using like all liquids and then going in with my powders on top. But when I did the demo yesterday, I was so frustrated because my skin was just patching so bad. And a lot of you guys in the comments are going through the same thing. So, you know, let's all unite because we're all just going through it with our skin right now. It's also literally like 10 degrees here in Ohio. But all that to say, last night I slathered my skin in like a heavy moisturizer. And then I also this morning exfoliated with a washcloth. I also used an oil-based primer and I did use a dewy setting spray. So I feel like my skin looks a lot more hydrated. I can't say that my bronzer applied perfectly. So I just wanted to note this. If you're new to my channel, you know what? I'm going through it. I was saying I think it's like perimenopause, and apparently that's a thing. So I thought that wasn't until later in life, but here we are at 36 and things are happening. So just wanted to give that disclaimer before we get into it, because if these do end up like grabbing or lifting in certain areas, it's literally just my skin. But I'm just going to apply them so you can see the colors, and hopefully I can get my skin under control because nothing's working, it seems. So let's go in with this shade 42 Baby Doll Pink. I'm gonna be using a Rephr 05. I'm just going to dip into the blush, tap off, and start applying. So these are supposed to be buildable. So I'm gonna go in with a second layer. This one is probably going to be the hardest to pull off depending on if you have a fair skin tone or if you are like tan. I don't know if I would say this would work for anyone over, I don't know, maybe my skin depth, but you never know. So I'm gonna go in with a third layer because I wanna try to build this up. So that is 3 layers. I think it's really pretty. The satin formula is really nice. It's not like overly glittery or chunky at all. Of course, it is going to enhance your texture if you get it like in your pores. Trying to think of like what I would compare it to. And my first thought would be the Kosas baked blushes, but a much more soft and like creamy formula. So pretty. I'm gonna go in for a 4th layer. I really wanna see how intense this can get. I think it's one of those that you're gonna have to have the right makeup on, kind of like the new Huda Beauty Ube collection. You really want to pair this with the right tones. I think it looks really pretty, and I think the glow in it is just enough. It's not over the top. All right, so this is what the shade 42 looks like on the skin. Very beautiful glow. It does have some pigment to it, so it's not so sheer that you can't get that pigment, but it does have that luminosity. So it really is a kind of unique to my collection shade, just because I feel like shades that are typically this light don't have any glow to them. If you have fair skin tone, I think you would look gorgeous in this shade. All right, so I went ahead and redid my makeup on this side to try the second shade. So I'm gonna go in with 93 Restless Rose. This looks really kind of like orange peachy. Definitely has a high sheen to it. I'm gonna be using a Royal & Langnickel BOM 36 brush, and I'm just going to grab some of the blush and then tap off and start applying. I always want to start with less because I feel like I was a little traumatized from yesterday's video. I've never struggled so much with blush. My skin was just not cooperating and the shades were quite deep for me. Okay, so this is really beautiful. Wow. It has that glow, but it is just smooth. Like the NARS Orgasm can get a little bit chunky and glittery. I'm not seeing that with this. So I'm gonna go in and really punch this up. That is beautiful. Wow, I didn't think I was gonna like this shade. I know Cheryl was raving about it, but ooh, that's pretty. I'm going in for one more, why not? Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. There's something about this, even though I'm orgasmed out. I didn't know I would ever say that, but you know, with NARS, they've taken orgasm to a new level, okay? So whenever I saw this and I was like, oh, that looks like NARS Orgasm, like been there, done that. But looking at this, wow, 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 wow. Ooh, that is beautiful. So this one is Restless Rose. Don't count this one out if you thought, you know, I'm over that kind of color. Wow, this is so beautiful. All right, so let's move on to the third shade, which is 44 Nude Lavalier. I hate that I just pronounced that because I probably butchered it. Now this one is like a nude mauve shade. So I'm gonna use a Rephr 05, just a clean brush, and I'm gonna dip in. This one looks like it has a little bit more oomph. And lately, mauve blushes have been sort of surprising me just because I usually don't reach for those or think that they would look good on me, but the Kosas Mauve blush is stunning, and I really didn't think I would like it. So I feel like I'm getting that not adhering to the skin, which I've been struggling with, and I think probably it's just from removing and reapplying. So ignore that, but I'm kind of trying to really build this up so you can see. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Even not applied perfectly, that is so pretty. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave this one there. This one surprised me so much. It is called a nude shade, but I would say it really translates like a beautiful mauve-y pink. The satin finish is stunning on these. Like, wow, I am so impressed. Makes me intrigued to see what the matte finishes are gonna look like. I think this is beautiful. This one shocked me. I almost didn't get it because I thought it just wasn't gonna be a shade that I like, but I wanted to get a good variety for the video, and I'm so glad that I got this one because it is so beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and try out the fourth shade, which is a matte formula. This is 37 Peachy Nude, and this one looks pretty rich and intense. So I'm gonna use a Rephr 05, just a clean one, and just dip in, tap off the excess, and start applying. I am curious to see how I feel about this matte formula. I usually would prefer a matte formula, but those satins just really surprised me. So I'm really just building this up. I mean, I still feel like the glow comes through because I have used glowy products underneath. Wow, it still feels like there's this really pretty, just like glow. It's just beautiful. This shade is so pretty. This is the Peachy Nude shade in the matte formulation, and honestly, I am impressed yet again. All right, so let's try out the last shade that I picked up. This is in a matte finish, and this is 87 Pink Voltage. I just think this is gonna be stunning. So I'm gonna use a Rephr 05. I have a bunch of these, so thank you to Rephr, but I'm going to dip in, tap off, and start applying. This reminds me of a little bit of a richer, deeper pink than like Melt Body, if you're familiar. It just has a little bit more oomph to it. I feel like I'm already going overboard, but YOLO. Wow, so this one, you don't need a bunch of layers. It definitely has some like depth to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply to the other side. I literally have like blush all in my hair, you guys, from yesterday with the Patrick Ta blushes, just because they were so intense, the shades. I mean, I have more in my hair today from this. So after this video, I need to like take a deep self-care shower and exfoliate and like scrub my hair and do all of the things. So I am loading this up because I want you to be able to see. So this is what 87 Pink Voltage looks like on the skin. This is definitely punchy. I would say that this is a more sophisticated version of the kind of like bubblegum blushes that we see. It's kind of like a hot pink, but it has a little bit more depth to it. So it does give you that like flushed Barbie doll look, but it's gonna show up on more skin tones, which I really appreciate. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself together, and then I'll be back here to give you my initial first impression and final thoughts. All right, guys, so now that we have tried on the 5 shades that I picked up, I wanna give you my initial thoughts. I am really impressed with this formula. I think the packaging is 10 out of 10. The color selection I thought was pretty good as well. I saw kind of a lot of different depths, starting with this really light shade, but then going up to like a deep berry. And I think there's just something really beautiful about the satin formula in particular. Now, I will say that my least favorite shade is probably this baby doll one, just because I feel like it leans almost too light and glowy, that it would be just a topper for me. But if you have a very fair skin tone or a light skin tone and you love pinks, sorry, my voice just went out, and you love pinks that have a glow, you would love this. The two that actually shocked me was the satin nude shade and also that rose shade. I think these are beautiful. I do find them to be buildable as well. And to me, they are reminiscent of the Kosas Cloud Baked Blushes with the Cloud Kosas Baked Blushes, but these are just creamier and softer and elevated. So stunning. And then the matte shades I thought were also really beautiful. I think that this peachy one is going to look stunning on so many different people. I thought it was going to be too deep for me, but there's something about this formula that just is beautiful on the skin. And then of course the pink one I'm wearing right now is absolutely stunning as well. So I think that this is a really, really exciting launch, but I do have to say that I think the price, the packaging, and the formula, it all adds up. I think they are stunning. I give these a 10 out of 10. I'm serious. They are beautiful. I love every single shade, and I'm shocked. I thought that like 2 or 3 of them I was gonna be like, whatever, I got them for the video, but I'm gonna be reaching for every single one of these. So I will link these down below. Do let me know if you pick them up or which shades you've tried and your thoughts on them. I would also love to know your feedback on how these looked on my skin tone, just because I always love chatting in the comments with you guys. But everything will be linked down below in the description box. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.